Are you searching for an easy 3-star attack strategy? Luckily you are at the right place because today I will show you everything to beat any base in Clash of Clans. Easy strategy to start using straight away. Check. Best hero equipment. Check. Most useful pets. Check. And all of that of course without spending a single drop of dark elixir. To demonstrate how OP these strategies are, we are going to be attacking the best base layouts created by professional base builders. Town Hall 1 is the most difficult to attack because no one in the world has it. But when it comes to Town Hall 2, then here we have archers and giants. Unlike previous years, now we can scout if a farming base has a defending clan castle troops or not. If it doesn't have, then you can destroy it by simply using giants to tank and archers to clean up. I deployed my troops from the upper right side because only then I can take out that well protected archer tower early on before it causes too much damage to my troops. In case your opponent has built a clan castle and has troops inside, then the only way to win is by using CC troops yourself. First lure out the defending CC and bring it all the way to the side where you are going to send in your giants. The worst defending CC troop at this town hall level is a baby dragon. The best way to get rid of a baby dragon is to distract it using 3 to 4 archers, but make sure to spread out the archer just like that. As soon as that is done, deploy a baby dragon from your own clan castle. Once it's taken care of, simply proceed with the attack as we did before. At Town Hall 3 the attack strategy remains similar as at Town Hall 2. Now you are going to encounter more and more bases that have defending clan castle troops, so the very first thing before each attack is to check the clan castle. Second thing is to take out the mortar. Knowing where the mortar is located gives you an idea which side you wanna lure the defending clan castle. As you can see in this case it's the bottom right side as there is a cannon outside the walled compartment. Next up, bring the defending CC away from the defenses and circle it with 15 to 20 archers. This method can be used against all types of defending troops. Now we have to get rid of the mortar, and that can be done by taking out the cannon first. In order to avoid splash damage, I deploy giants into groups. This way the mortar can't damage all the giants at once, increasing the chances of troops staying alive longer. Same logic applies if there is a base where the mortar is in the middle of the base without defenses that are outside the walled compartment. In that case all you have to do is use one giant to distract the mortar and rest of the giants to break a wall from different location, which then allows them to funnel straight towards the mortar. Once the first defenses are destroyed, start using rest of the archers to clean up the base for an easy 3-star. At Town Hall 4 we are switching from ground to air as we have balloons now unlocked. Like with every lower Town Hall level, we will start off by checking the defending clan castle troops. In case there is a baby dragon, then bring them away from the defenses and surround them with archers. But make sure to lure them to the side where the air defense is the closest, as this is where you want to initiate your balloon attack from. If there is a Valkyrie inside the clan castle, then archers are not gonna work. In fact, there won't be a troop at this level that could kill a Valkyrie. You might be able to kill it only if you are going to waste half of the army, which we don't wanna do. The only efficient option is to get a baby dragon and a balloon inside your clan castle. If your clan mates are not very generous with donations, then simply join an active request and go clan for the CC troops. Once you have the baby dragon, then drop it to kill the Valkyrie. Now it's time to destroy the air defense. I would advise to use 7 to 8 balloons to take down the air defense, and as soon as these balloons will fly into the range of the archer towers, deploy 2 more balloons for each archer tower. If you encounter a base where air defense is in the middle, then try to attack it via archer towers, as they are the secondary target to be taken out. Once the defenses start to go down, deploy any remaining archers for the cleanup. Also make sure to pay attention if there are any corner builder huts, because these can cause you to run out of time. At Town Hall 5 we will keep using balloons, and right here we have an anti-air base design. As you can see, the air defense has been placed in a way that it would be impossible to funnel your balloons there, but in reality everything is possible. Of course we will start off by checking the defending clan castle troops. Since the CC is right outside the base, then simply use archers for luring. In case the base has its CC in the middle covered by buildings, then this is why I have included giants to the army. First giant is for luring the CC, and second is for other purposes I will explain in a minute. Once the enemy CC troops are out, draw them to the side where you are going to initiate your balloon attack later on. How to pick which side to attack comes down to the air defense. If I would attack from the mortar side, then my balloons would get fired at for the whole duration of the attack by 3 archer towers at the other side. If I would try to attack from the top, then my balloons would literally circle around the air defense. But if I would attack from the upper right side, then I can immediately get rid of one of the archer towers. So that's why I am going to lure the defending CC all the way to the upper right side. Once the enemy CC troops have been drawn away from the defenses, use one of the lightning spells so it would damage all the troops. And now you can use your second giant to distract the defending CC troops while rest of the archers are dealing damage to them. As soon as the defending troops are dead, it's time to deploy the balloons and funnel them to the air defense. In order to do that, we have to send 5 balloons for the archer tower and 5 for the cannon. Because I needed to get both of them down as fast as possible, I dropped the lightning on them for some extra damage. Now I deployed the CC full of balloons slightly to the left side to target the air defense, as this is our main priority. Since there are 2 archer towers in this compartment, then I sent 6 balloons to start eliminating the air targeting defenses. And in order to be entirely sure the air defense goes down, I sent another group of 4 balloons. This is because very often there are air bombs near the air defense that might take out a whole group of balloons. And this is the reason why it's important to send them in small groups. As soon as the balloons have destroyed the defenses, start deploying rest of the archers to clean up the remaining buildings. Similarly to my 2024 list, this ground army is still the very best for Town Hall 6, and this anti-ground base design with loads of spring trap locations is ideal to demonstrate why it's so good. As always, for those lower Town Hall levels, start by checking if enemy has any defending CC troops. If they do, then lure it out using whether an archer or a giant in case the clan castle radius is covered with buildings. Since mortar is the main threat for any ground army at these lower Town Hall levels, then we are going to pick our attacking side based on that. Because both top left and top right side are identical, then it doesn't matter which side you are going to attack, and in this case I chose upper right side. Now that the defending CC is in a safe distance from any of the defenses, we can use some archers mixed with wizards to help take them out. Also, if you want to distract them, you can drop 1 giant to keep more archers and wizards alive. As soon as the defending CC is taken care of, place rest of the giants followed with a root rider from the clan castle. Root Rider is the best attacking CC troop you can have, as it is really tanky and also it is the most reliable way of breaking through the walls. If your clan mates don't have Root Riders to donate, then simply take part of the raid weekend to earn raid medals to give troops for yourself. In a fairly decent clan you can earn around 1500 raid medals per week, which means you can donate yourself 150 Root Riders every week, which is way more than you will probably ever need. And if it's still really difficult for you to get a Root Rider, then simply remove 2 wizards from the army and replace it with 4 wall breakers to help your giants get through the walls. As soon as you see your main group of giants are getting below 50% health, use heal spell to keep them alive. Once the defenses are destroyed, deploy rest of the archers and wizards to clean up any of the buildings that are left, and just like that you can triple an anti-ground base with ground troops. At Town Hall 7 you will unlock dragons, and this is without a doubt the most powerful army you can have. To showcase its strength, I have set up an anti-air base. First thing, find out where the air sweeper is. Once found, see in which direction is it facing, as you want to attack from behind the air sweeper, and in this case it's going to be from the bottom left side. Now that we know where to attack from, we are going to get rid of the furthest air defense using 5 lightning spells. Always try to damage any nearby air targeting defenses along with the air defense itself. If it's 3 tiles in between the buildings and you land all the spells right in between, then you can easily take out both defenses. Next up, we are going to start creating a funnel for the dragons. If you saw earlier during scouting that enemy has defending CC troops, then do not use your BK for the funnel from the bottom corner, as it can lure out the CC and get him killed pretty fast. Instead, use it for the other corner like you can see here. Also, I use the thrower from the CC to help up with creating the funnel, but actually the CC is not even that necessary with this attack. You can take whatever you can get inside your CC and it will work just fine. Once the left side has been funneled, use 1 dragon from the bottom corner to take out few of those trash buildings. Now spread out those balloons along the bottom left side to trigger any potential traps and send in rest of the dragons. The last lightning spell should be used according to the clan castle troops. If there are many low housing space CC troops, then you might want to use the lighting on them, but if it's a dragon, then use it to deal damage damage to one of the air defenses. At this town hall level many bases have corner builder huts, so for that reason I included 5 archers to this army. But if it doesn't have corner builder huts, then use them to clean up any of those outer trash buildings. As you can see, despite attacking an anti-air base, there are still 6 dragons out of 9 alive, which is going to show how strong this army really is. At Town Hall 8, Zap Dragon attack strategy is still going strong, and the skills learned at Town Hall 7 will come very handy in here. I picked this anti-air base design where all the air defenses are protected by those high hit point buildings. It's also worth mentioning that Town Hall 8 can now have access to Archer Queen, which is basically like having a 4th air defense inside the base, but with legs. Luckily Town Hall 8 bases are still fairly tiny, and in most bases you can zap out both air defense and Archer Queen at the same time. I took it out because as always we will be attacking from behind the air sweeper, and this air defense would be the furthest to reach for the dragons. Now we can zap another air defense, and which one to choose comes down to which one is harder to take out with the dragons. Because the bottom right side air defense has 2 elixir storages protecting it, meanwhile the upper right side has just 1, then we are obviously going to zap the bottom one. This is because the elixir collectors have a little less than 1000 hit points, while elixir storage has over 2000 hit points. Now a funnel has to be created in a way that dragons can approach the base behind the sweeper, and also in a way to take out that last air defense as soon as possible. For that we have to funnel these 2 parts. For the top left part you can use whether a clan castle troops or any of the heroes that you have available. Personally I went with a clan castle root rider and a wizard right where the air targeting defenses to eliminate any threat to the dragons. Now let's move to the other side. Since bottom right side has 2 archer towers protecting it, then we are going to use 2 balloons to check any potential air traps and 2 dragons to clean up that side of the base. Once the funnel is about to be finished on both sides, sending balloons to check any traps and then spread the dragons along the side so they would immediately move towards the last air defense. Because we are using an army of dragons, then there is no need to worry about the defending CC that much, as they can take out anyone. If you used CC troops earlier to create a funnel, then using an hero is even not necessary for this attack strategy. But if you have both available, you can use your king or queen to speed up the cleaning up process. Since hero equipment unlocks at Town Hall 8, then use whatever you have upgraded to a higher level. As you just saw, if you pick the correct air defenses to zap and create a proper funnel, then it doesn't matter how much of an anti-air base design you are against. At Town Hall 9 we are gonna keep using the same strategy as at previous 2 Town Hall levels because how easy and strong it is. In order to demonstrate its strength, I will be executing the attack in hard mode where many offensive capabilities are nerfed and defenses are buffed. So first of all, find where the air sweepers are and which side are they facing. Since they are facing towards the bottom side, then you want to zap quick both of those bottom air defenses. Definitely try to deal damage to the nearby defenses as well, and potentially even take them out along with the air defenses. Next up we are going to try to destroy at least one or even both their defenses using the giant arrow ability. If you want to keep using Dragon Army, you should 100% prioritize upgrading giant arrow equipment first. In case you just unlocked it, I would definitely advise to practice aligning your queen with the buildings in friendly challenges before you actually take it to the battle. In this case I managed to use the gold mine to line the queen to destroy both of the air defenses. After that we start with the main attack by deploying balloons along the upper side corner to trigger any potential traps and then sending in the dragons from behind. If you have minion prints available, definitely go with it as it synergizes with this army a lot better than BK. But if you have BK, then just send it to create a funnel for the dragons or to provide tanking for the archer queen. Also these 2 baby dragons I included into this army specifically for helping clean up those outer trash buildings so that the main army can funnel inside the core of the base. When the main army clashes with the defending CC troops, it's good time to use the rage spell to minimize the incoming damage by taking them out quickly. Whenever you see useful, pop that minion prince ability to slow down the defenses and spawn those little henchmen. As you can see, we didn't even need to use any reinforcement troops for this attack. When it comes to hero equipment, then as mentioned earlier, giant arrow is the main priority. For the second ability, take whatever you have upgraded to a higher level, although I would almost always take invisibility vial over archer puppet. In case you are running BK, BK along with this army. Then from common abilities I would pick Earthquake Boots and Rage Vial. At Town Hall 10 the Zap Dragon strategy gets even easier. There are only two things you have to think about: which side to attack from and where to shoot the giant arrow. Rest of the attack is very simple. So which side to attack from? Typically with spam armies it's better to attack from the sides that are less tense in buildings. What I mean by that is if you would attack along the bottom right side, then the dragons could potentially spread out too much, bringing each individual dragon under more fire. But while attacking from the bottom left side it's less likely to happen. Second thing to consider for picking the side is the direction where the air sweepers are facing. Since the air sweepers are not fully turned towards the bottom left or upper right side, then I decided to attack from the bottom left side. But where to shoot the giant arrow? First of all, if you don't have giant arrow for some reason, then take your queen and place her anywhere in the base where she could take out at least one air defense. Archer Puppet and Invisibility Vial should keep her alive long enough to even push through some of the trash buildings. If you have giant arrow, then against most bases you should be able to take out 2 air defenses. In case you find it difficult, just use your physical ruler. This will immediately give you an idea from which angle you have to drop your queen. In case there are multiple options where you can shoot the giant arrow, then looking for secondary value can help you out. And by secondary value I mean another air targeting defense or an hero that the queen will most likely take out after using the giant arrow. On the right side air defenses, it's very difficult to find an angle that could also potentially hit another air defense, after which the queen would also take down any other air targeting defense. That leaves us only the bottom left side air defense because it checks all the boxes. It has potential to hit a second air defense, and it has secondary value as she can take out at least one air targeting defense. Now we are ready to execute the attack. Since I know which air defense I am going to take out with the giant arrow, I will start with taking out the right side air defenses. Since mistakes can happen with shooting the giant arrow, then for that purpose I included so many lightning and earthquake spells to the army that 3 air defenses can be destroyed using only spells. If you manage to shoot down 2 air defenses with the giant arrow, then the last set of spells can be used whether on an air sweeper that will intervene your dragon army, or use them to deal damage to the defending queen. As you already saw, then after taking out all the air defenses I simply sent in the balloons to trigger any traps, followed by the dragons and a minion prince. The last baby dragon is just for the purpose to help funnel the main army towards the core of the base. When it comes to heroes I would always use minion prince along with dragons, as he is able to benefit them more with his abilities. If your MP is down, then the best use for BK along with this army would be to clean up outer buildings. So the best equipment for that case would be Vamp Stash and any epic that you might have. At Town Hall 11 Zap Dragon gets even easier due to unlocking the Grand Warden and the ability to destroy one single air defense with 2 lightnings and 1 earthquake spell. In order to demonstrate that, we will be using hard mode where offense is weaker and defense is stronger. Similarly to Town Hall 10, we have to figure out 2 things while scouting the base: which side to attack from and where to shoot the giant arrow. Which side to attack from gets a lot easier on Town Hall 11 because now we just have to look at where the eagle artillery is and which side can it be destroyed the quickest. In this case it's obviously the upper corner. Now comes the question where to shoot the giant arrow. In this case it's possible to shoot from left to right or vice versa, and also straight across the map. First option is slightly more risky and harder to execute, so we are going with the second option. Since shooting across the map from top side is complicated due to the gold storages, then we are going with the bottom side air defenses. Both of these can work, so I just picked the left one. Even though I can pretty easily take out these 2 air defenses, then we are not going to do that. Instead we are going to shoot down only 1 air defense because it often can happen that outer buildings and air defenses are not so in line with each other. Next up we will use 1 earthquake and 2 lightning spells on all the air defenses. Also make sure to damage and potentially take down any nearby air targeting defenses, like I managed to destroy 3 archer towers. Now we will start with balloons from the top to trigger any air traps. Then we will send in few dragons to create a funnel so that all the dragons would charge towards that eagle artillery and eventually right inside the core of the base. To help with the funneling I included 1 baby dragon to the army. Of course when all the dragons have been deployed, send those heroes to back them up. Since MP has only 2 common equipments at the moment, then I have no suggestions except waiting to use his ability when he is facing towards many air targeting defenses or potentially dangerous CC troops. For Grand Warden, the must-have ability is obviously Eternal Tome to neglect any damage when they are about to get hit by Eagle artillery shells, clashing with defending CC troops, or in general getting damaged a lot from different angles. As you just saw, I used a blimp with balloons to support my main army. This can be used according to a situation and a base layout. For example, if Eagle artillery is in the center of the base, then blimp with balloons can be easily guided inside the Eagle artillery compartment way before the main army gets there. When it comes to rage spells, then first one I use to help take out defending CC troops faster, and second one just wherever necessary. In this case it was to eliminate enemy heroes. Last thing I want to mention is if you have any of the other heroes down and you can use BK, then I would advise to use him for funneling and cleaning up outer buildings. Hence I would suggest to use Vamp Stash and any epic equipment that you have. In my last year's list I suggested to use Zap, which is that many consider as one of the strongest armies for Town Hall 12. But once I started playing solo clan wars where I had also 2 of my Town Hall 12 accounts, I realized it has a lot of potential for failure. For that reason I would highly suggest to use Zap Dragons also on this Town Hall level. Since both defense and attack mechanisms doesn't change that much at Town Hall 12 compared to Town Hall 11, then I am not going to go so in depth with the analysis as at Town Hall 11. So if you would like to understand the planning and execution better, I would highly advise to watch the Town Hall 11 tutorial as well. There are 2 tiny differences though to pay attention to, and I will explain them as we go through the attack. By the way, if you are wondering why did I boost my heroes for this tutorial, then I did not. It was just that I had few battles of Mighty Morsel left. Anyway, first of all we are going to find a place for the queen so she can shoot down at least 1 air defense. If you can get down to ADs then perfect. If not, then that's completely okay as well, because we can use 1 earthquake spell and 2 lightnings for each of the remaining air defenses. Then we are going to attack from the side where the Eagle artillery is the easiest to access by deploying first some balloons to trigger potential traps and then dragons from behind. It's better to start from the corners to create a funnel so that the main army can easily move through the core of the base. For that I also included a baby dragon to clean up outer trash buildings. Once the main army has been deployed along with the heroes, then send in that blimp full of balloons. Now time the Grand Warden's ability so it would give the blimp immunity from damage for as long as possible. This is important because most Town Hall 12 bases have Town Hall in one side of the base and Eagle artillery in the opposite side. For that reason Eternal Tome has to be timed precisely in order to reach to that Town Hall to take it out before rest of the troops will get there. The way you use the blimp is the first difference, and the second one is the overgrowth spell. Having an OG is just for an emergency, pretty much in case the blimp doesn't reach to the Town Hall but still triggers it. Or you can use it on a single targeting Inferno Tower. Let's say if the upper side Inferno Tower was a single targeting, then this is where I would have used the overgrowth to save the queen as she can't reach over that wall. There are many ways how to use it, but if you don't like using an OG then rage spell will be fine too. When it comes to the best hero equipment to use, then for the queen giant arrow is a must. Second ability should be whether a healer puppet or invisibility vial. As you saw, healer puppet was able to keep her alive throughout the whole attack. For MP there is no choice but to pick the common abilities. For Grand Warden Eternal Tome is a must, and the second ability I would ideally pick Rage Gem, but if you haven't leveled it up then any other is fine too. In case you have one of your previous heroes upgrading and you will swap for the king, then go for Vamp Stash and any epic equipment you have available. At Town Hall 13 we have unlocked Dragon Riders that will perfectly fit into Zap Dragon strategy. Also we have unlocked the 4th hero slot where we are going to be using Royal Champion, although BK is very viable option too. The planning and execution part at TH13 is very similar to Town Hall 11 and 12, so I would highly suggest to check out their tutorials first if you haven't seen them. First of all we are going to find where to drop the queen so she would shoot down potentially 2 air defenses. There are many options here, but in this case I didn't want to trigger the Town Hall, so I went with the left to right arrow. That's also good because you can get some secondary value out of it, as the queen will also take down few air targeting defenses. But since we make mistakes I am not going to use this replay to showcase the execution. Instead I will use this one where things went little left, as it can sometimes happen with giant arrow. Fortunately we have plenty of earthquakes and lightning spells to take down rest of the air defenses. While doing so always try to get in some additional damage to the nearby defenses or heroes. Now we are going to attack from the side where the eagle artillery is the easiest to access. First create a small funnel by deploying some balloons to trigger any potential traps and end dragons from behind. This way the main army can easily move right towards to the core of the base. Once the main army has been deployed along with the heroes, then send in that blimp to take out the town hall. In order for the blimp to travel all the way to the town hall, it's very important to time the Grand Warden's ability so it would give the blimp immunity from damage for as long as possible. Once it's there, use rage spell to make sure the balloons are going to take it out without fail. If necessary, use a freeze spell on the town hall as it pumps out quite a bit of damage. I did included a baby dragon to this army as well to help clean up outer trash buildings, so feel free to use it whenever you feel fit. Last freeze spell can also be used whenever necessary, but mostly it would probably be a defending archer queen or a scatter shot. Pretty much the same goes for the royal champion. Use it when you feel fit. Since she doesn't have a key role in executing this attack, you can swap her for the king as well. When it comes to equipment that I haven't shown or mentioned yet, then for MP and RC you would have to go with the default common abilities. If you have electro boots or rocket spear, then feel free to use one of them instead of the royal gem. Or if you have both, use both epics. For the Grand Warden both terms would be ideal. For the BK I would take Vamp Stash and any epic that you have unlocked. At Town Hall 14 we are using the same army as at previous Town Hall level. First of all we have to pick a correct side where we are going to initiate the main attack, and this will be the Eagle Artillery side. This is the defense you want to destroy ASAP. Secondly, we have to find an angle how we can potentially shoot down to air defenses using the giant arrow. If it's hard to see the path visually, using a physical ruler might help you find the correct building that you can use to line your queen according to the air defenses. Because I didn't want to trigger the town hall by shooting the arrow from left to right on bottom to air defenses, and neither could I do it from the cannons. Then I chose to shoot from top to the bottom. That was also very beneficial for me as the queen was now creating a funnel for my main army, and funneling army of dragons to the core of the base is the third step. Since right side was being funneled by the queen, then for the left corner I used a baby dragon that I included into this army specifically for that. In case there are more buildings to be taken care of, then use one loon to trigger traps and then one dragon to help out the baby dragon. Also, if necessary, feel free to use freeze spell to keep the queen alive, as she can take out a lot of buildings with the help from the healer puppet ability. Once the funnel has been created, repeat the process of sending in the balloons to trigger any potential traps and then deploy the dragons, dragon riders, and heroes. By heroes I mean both air heroes. Do not deploy any ground heroes with the main army. In case you have both their heroes available, then I would also advise not to take any ground pets with them. That means you have to leave one of them without a pet, which is way more worth it than luring out 3 ice golems from a clan castle that will stall your army for centuries. And now comes the last important part of the attack, which is using the blimp. I can't tell you when exactly should you deploy your blimp, but in this case the town hall is very far from where the main army started. Also there are air sweepers pointing towards the upper side. All of that tells us we have to delay sending in the blimp a little bit so Grand Warden can move slightly more inside the base. Timing his ability is very important. As you just saw, I did not pop the ability yet because I saw the wind is gonna push the blimp back inside the warden's aura. But after it started moving out of the aura again, I quickly used it. This way, even though there are so many traps, it doesn't matter as the blimp got close enough to the town hall. Now loons along with clone spells, rage spell, and the freeze spells will take care of the rest. If you are doing war attack, I would definitely try to get the rocket balloons for the CC, but when it comes for trophy pushing, then normal loons will be just fine. Meanwhile the blimp was moving towards the town hall. I also deployed the royal champion from the right side corner to help clean up the defenses. If you don't happen to have royal champion available, then BK is a perfect fit to replace her. When it comes to their equipment, then any epics for RC is warmly welcomed. If you have only common abilities, then Hog Puppet and Haste Vial would be the best. For BK I would take Vamp Stash and any epic that you might have. For Grand Warden I am sure you might have noticed I used both tomes, which is in my opinion the best combo you can't go wrong with. At Town Hall 15, 16, and 17 I am going to teach you a strategy that I don't see anyone use these days. And it is the Korean 5.0 attack strategy. I have perfected this strategy for almost a year and you can literally take out Town Hall 17s using a rushed Town Hall 15. But in order to use this army perfectly I would highly encourage you to watch all the tutorials from Town Hall 15 to 17 as I will be covering different aspects and layouts of the exact same attack strategy. There are only some very tiny changes to pet combinations. First of all we have to talk about planning phase, which consists of two parts. Picking the side and funneling. Firstly, picking the side. When attacking a Town Hall 15 or 16 then the approach is slightly different and I will talk about it in the Town Hall 16 tutorial. But when facing a Town Hall 17 then you have to consider three things. First, the location of the Town Hall, location of the fire spitters, and also we have to take into consideration the ability to funnel. In this case I see the Town Hall fairly in the center of the base with both fire spitters pointing towards the bottom side. The question is, how can I avoid both of them shooting at me? Well, it's quite simple. By attacking from one of the top sides and using overgrowth spells at the right time. If I am going to bring in my army from top left then I can sneak up to the Town Hall from behind of this fire spitter, and once I get to the range of the Town Hall I will use overgrowth spell on both the Town Hall and the right side fire spitter. And this is how you solve the main problem. Next part of the planning phase is funneling. And the very important thing here is we don't want to create it a big spread for the main army. This type of spam armies like Root Riders and Valkyries are meant to stick together, and for that I use three different ways how to achieve that. First is the Royal Champion. The crucial part here is the equipment choice. Personally I prefer to go with Rocket Spear into Seeking Shield, and it would be great if you had at least a level 18 Rocket Spear. This epic equipment can help you create a really deep funnels for the main army. In case you don't have it or it's too low level then I would take the Seeking Shield and Haste Vial. Second way to create a funnel is by using a Siege Barrack with throwers inside. And third way is by using an Archer Queen with a Giant Arrow Healer Puppet combo. Sometimes it's enough to use only RC and Siege Barrack to create a funnel, but in some cases it's better to use all three, like we are going to do here. So in order to make the road for the main army more narrow while avoiding Valkyries to run outside the base, we have to make the deeper funnel from the top corner using both Siege Barrack and Royal Champion. I also used one Valkyrie just to avoid the Archer Tower from locking onto the Siege Barrack. Immediately after I deployed the RC I popped her ability. If you happen to run into Skeleton Trap with your RC then don't hesitate to use a Valkyrie to take the Lares out before she wastes too many spears on them. Also the best pet to go along with RC is the Dibby, as it can stun defenses for her. Once she runs out of spears and starts taking in a lot of damage, use the recall spell and potentially try to save the Dibby as well. Now let's move to the other side to talk about why I use the Queen here. One reason is because this base doesn't have invisibility spell towers that have to be triggered. And second reason is how perfectly in line there are so many buildings that she can easily take out with the giant arrow. In case the base has some annoying invisibility spell tower placements then I would have used Siege Barrack for the left side corner, RC with two Valkyries from the top side corner, and Queen with the main army to trigger the invis towers. This is where the planning phase ends and spamming phase starts. Once the funnel has been created, send in ice golems followed by Root Riders, Mini Warden, King, Grand Warden, Balloons, Healers, Valkyries, RC, and lastly to Headhunters. Then we are going to use an early Grand Warden's ability together with a Rage spell so they can get through the defending CC troops quicker. As soon as the Eternal Tome effect is about to run out, drop the Overgrowth spell on both the Town Hall and the Fire Spitter. Now even despite the army being stuck due to ice golems, they won't take that much damage. Once they are done with the defending CC they will run into another poison spell, and to counter that I have included a haste spell into this army. That helps the whole army get through it like there is no poison spell on the ground. Since my whole army moved near to the right side fire spitter, then I won't use overgrowth spell on it again but rather the Town Hall and the Monolith Tower. Last rage spell is very much situational, but try to use it somewhere where bigger group of your army is is under a heavy fire. Now that both of my queen and RC are dead, I evaluated which one can benefit me more. Because the archer queen had died far from the main army and near the monolith, then the obvious answer was the royal champion. Then all that was left to do was to choose the correct timing to use King's ability. Currently Spiky Ball and Earthquake Boots combo is the strongest and it perfectly fits into this army. This time I used it to take out the monolith tower that locked onto the king. Now it's just a cleanup and the work is done. At Town Hall 16 we will use the exact same army, and if you skipped all the way to this tutorial then I would highly suggest to watch Town Hall 15 tutorial first, Town Hall 16 second, and Town Hall 17 last, as I will be revealing different yet very important aspects of the same strategy throughout these guides. Anyway, when you are attacking a Town Hall 15 or 16 then the Korean strategy approach is very much about avoiding the Town Hall as long as possible due to the death bomb. So for that reason we will always attack from the opposite side, as most of the time that's also where the Eagle artillery is. This defense is the most lethal against spam armies, so this is the indicator which side to attack from. Since both top left and right are pretty much identical then we are just going to pick the right side. As we spoke during Town Hall 15 tutorial, next up we have to solve how to create a sufficient funnel. Once again we want to create a narrow path for the main army, so the only possible way is to direct them from right side towards the left side corner and then from there anti-clockwise around the town hall. In order to do that we have to create the deep funnel from the right side corner using RC with rocket spear. Since RC is going to clean up all these buildings anyway, then there is no point using siege barrack from the same corner. Instead we will use siege barrack from the top corner and send one Valkyrie along with the RC to clean up the trash buildings. Once again, as soon as RC is getting low in hit points, recall her and if possible Spirit Fox as well. Why I didn't want to use the queen for the funnel this time is simple. First, it wasn't necessary, and secondly she would have died way too soon due to the double ground expos. Now that we understand which side to attack and how to funnel, it's time to start spamming. First send in ice golems, then root riders, mini warden, all the heroes, balloons, healers, Valkyries, and lastly headhunters if you have any left. I used one of them earlier to help siege barrack troops take out that Grand Warden. Also, you might have noticed I didn't deploy one Valkyrie. This is a habit I try to follow most of the time because she might become extremely valuable to clean up any trash buildings that are far from your main army. It can often save from a time fail. So if possible try to save one Valkyrie for cleanup. Continuing with the attack, it's time to start popping some hero abilities. If you are sending in the queen along with the main army, then pop her ability first before using Eternal Tome. But once you have, immediately activate the Eternal Tome to protect the newly spawned healers from any air traps. Now that the main army is running into defending CC troops, drop that rage spell to get them through these ice golems as soon as possible. When it comes to overgrowth spells, then I always use it on the town hall, but typically I wouldn't use them before 50% destruction. Except if the town hall has been triggered for some reason. But this time I used it earlier because of the rage spell tower that was powering all these multi-archer and inferno towers. They were dealing my army some nasty damage, so I just had to do it. Now as the main army is moving towards the town hall, already think in your head where would be the best place where the second overgrowth spell should go. In this case I just had to block those high damage single targeting defenses because I wanted to use King's ability once he gets closer to the town hall. Also my RC died, so I used the revive spell on her as she massively contributes into taking down the defenses. The last spell I saved specifically to get around the poison spell tower faster. Once I saw where the poison was thrown and where my troops are, I placed it so they can quickly pass to the last defenses. Also I was patiently waiting to use the king's ability, and finally when he moved towards the town hall I pushed the button and the whole base fell apart. In case you skipped all the way here without watching the Town Hall 15 and 16 tutorial, then I would highly suggest you to do so, as many things might not make sense otherwise. Also I want to mention this particular part I recorded of the previous CWL where I managed to almost get perfect scores on both of my accounts. So I would say if you master this army it will be 99% reliable. Anyway, most of the in-depth planning and analysis is in the Town Hall 15 tutorial how to attack a Town Hall 17, but here we have a base where Town Hall is not very near to the center, and also fire spitters are not covering the Town Hall. This means that we can straight up walk towards the Town Hall without worrying, as it doesn't have the death bomb anymore. Now we have an option to attack whether from the upper left or upper right side. Since we want our main army to walk towards the town hall, then the deep funnel has to be created from either of those corners using the royal champion. Because right side corner has Grand Warden protecting it, then it's always a risky business as we don't know how the RC will interact with him and how many spears is she going to waste. For that reason I picked the left side corner. I also sent in the siege barrack from there because I didn't want to let wizards die to hot steaming beam from Inferno Tower at the top corner. Instead I used the giant arrow to clean up upper right side trash buildings quickly. Of course do not forget to recall your RC when she gets low on hit points. Also be sure to use headhunters in case there are any defending heroes nearby. As soon as the defending king goes down so he can't distract any other troops, we are going to spam in the main army. As always we will start with the ice golems. Then root riders, mini warden, heroes, balloons, healers, valkyries, headhunter, and for the last I usually leave the royal champion because how little health she has left after creating a funnel. Once all the troops have been deployed you can start looking for an opportunity to pop the Grand Warden's ability. Personally I wanted to make sure I will have my troops covered when they will hit those bomb towers that have empty gaps next to them with potentially even more giant bombs. Of course using a rage spell during Eternal Tome is a great thing to do as troops can quickly run through many traps without taking damage. I think it makes sense why I use these pets that I am using except the Angry Jelly on BK. This is actually because how often he goes for a walk around the base without it. With Angry Jelly I can very often get him right inside the core for that sweet Earthquake Spike Ball combo. As you might have noticed, the usage of overgrowth spells are slightly different now as we don't have to use it for the town hall. Where you will use it in case you destroy the town hall early on is completely situational. Typically that would be a group of key defenses like fire spitters, merged defenses, monolith and so on. When it comes to the usage of revive spell then there seems to be a tendency that royal champion often finds herself in some trouble, and since she is really valuable to this army then she is usually the main priority who you should revive. Here you can also see why it's important to keep one Valkyrie on your army camp so she can start cleaning up the furthest buildings from your main army. If you want to relax your brain after so much information, feel free to click on the left video, and if you are struggling to find loot then check out the video on the right. Have fun.